Hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of Talking Nerdy with Ruff. Today I want to talk to y'all about one of my favorite comic book series of all times. It is actually a DC title, and everybody that knows me knows I'm not crazy about DC titles, but this one got started on it when I got out of school and picked up the whole main series. The name of it's Sandman. And the Sandman was on a Vertigo's title, or Vertigo's was the publisher, which DC's like adult publisher at the time. And it run from 1989 to 1993. 75 issues and I think there's a couple special issues, like longer ones. I'm going to run through show you the books real quick first. It's 12 of the Sandman series, and there's a bunch of other ones. The very first trade paperbacks, Preludes and Nocturnes. We've got The Doll's House, Dream Country, Season of Mists, A Game of You, and right here, the next one is Fables and Reflections, and I have it, but I don't have it right here with me. Brief Lives, World's End, The Kindly Ones, The Wake, Endless Nights. Now, these books, this series rather, was wrote by Neil Gaiman. And I don't know who's familiar or not familiar with Neil Gaiman, but he is a writer from, I believe, Britain. He's born in England, and his genre is fantasy, horror, science fiction, dark fantasy, and comedy. This is considered a dark, under the other titles, it's a dark comedy. There's some kind of messed up stuff happens. His notable works is The Sandman, of course. He wrote American Gods, Stardust, Neverwhere, Coraline, The Graveyard Book, Good Omens, The Ocean at the End of the Lane. He's been active since 1984, and he's got one child. Her name is Amanda. That's important because it's not important to this video necessarily, but Coraline and I think The Graveyard Book, I know Coraline he wrote for his daughter, and I believe The Graveyard Book's actually a children's book that he wrote. But he's an excellent writer. When I was off to myself for a little while, my buddy Kevin bought me, he knew I was a huge Neil Gaiman fan, and he got me A View from the Cheap Seats. And what it is a collection. It had never been collected before. It was like articles he wrote for magazines and biographies and speeches he gave and stuff. And it's a really good read. Now, besides these, there's also Sandman Overtures, the newest of the Sandman series, and it's the newest, but technically, chronologically, it take place before the other 11. It's not a good place to jump on, though. I feel like it would just confuse somebody starting out. Then I've got there's several of these that Sandman Presents, and there's a Sandman Mystery Theater too that I don't have any of. This is Taller Tales. This is The Furies. This is dealing with I believe it's Greek gods of the Furies. And I got 2 death books. Death, High Cost of Living, and Death, Time of Your Life. Now, I think there's 5 or 6 of these. There's several of these. And I believe there's one for Destiny and Despair, which that don't really make sense. Let me back up a minute. Dream is one of the Endless. What the Endless are is this is all in DC's universe, and the Endless are like, they come after creation, but before people. As long as there's been people or living things that could dream, had destinies, would die, they've been there, and they're stronger than some gods. Maybe stronger than all gods. I don't think that's really fleshed out much. But there's Destiny is the oldest. Destiny is he's generally portrayed as a character. He's got robed. He's got a robe on, and he walks the path in his garden that's already set out, and he's got a book that no one can read but him. It's chained to him. He's also blind. But there's Destiny, then there's Death, the graphics on this new one, man, they really knocked it out of the park. And he's in, I guess I should have marked these pages first. I did for the first book. I was going to kind of go in depth and review, but I didn't think about showing y'all pictures of all of them. But he is, anyways, it's Destiny, Death, Dream. Here's a picture of Destiny. Right in here. I ain't got no good pictures of him. Nope. Destiny, Death, Dream, Desire, Despair, Delirium, who is Delight until she hit, it's not really puberty because they're nearly omnipotent, but as she got older, she become Delirium. And Destruction. And Destruction, it deals with it in the main series. He got tired of everything, kind of the, I guess, God rat race, if you want to say. And he took his sigil and left. Now, the thing about the sigil, the way they summon each other in this book, which I thought was just this amazing thing, it still really is, but there's another book that does, a book series that does something similar. Roger Zelazny has the Amber Chronicles, and in the Amber Chronicles there's these princes and princesses of Amber, and they have this deck of cards that's got them drawn on it when they was younger, and that's how they communicate with each other, through the cards. In the Sandman, what they have is in each of their realms, like in a Dream or Destiny's Garden, he's got a gallery, and in his gallery is everybody's sigils. Death is an Ankh. Sandman, Morpheus, at this time turns into another person, is this his helm. Despair's got like a little hook, like a fish hook on a ring she cuts herself with. She's portrayed as like this kind of bigger woman. She's usually naked, and her twin, Despair's twin, is Desire, and Desire is described as it's anamorphic. It's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Everybody that sees it wants to be with it. Its sigil's a heart. Deliriums, I'm not sure that they even deal. It might be a butterfly or something. It's real. Hers is. It's kind of weird. There's a big. They go on a big adventure in the books together. Delirium and Dream, and it's kind of. He's the old stoic, not as bad as Destiny, but he keeps to himself, and he don't want to mess with his little sister, who's just, her head's full of butterflies, and she's real head in the sky, kind of carefree. She's got little chocolate soldiers at dinner that she animates them and stuff. It's really cool because they're omnipotent beings, but the way they can do anything they want to, especially in their realm. The way this opens up, Preludes and Nocturnes, is there is this cult in the early 1900s, best I can remember, and they're trying to summon death. And what they get is Dream. They screw up and get Dream. This cult has got him in, if people are familiar with Supernatural, it would be like the demon traps. It's a trap he can't get out of unless it's broke, and they'll only break it if he does what they want him to do, and he's not going to. They want power and riches and stuff. But meanwhile, while he's locked in there, he is the steward of the dreaming. So there's people who's losing sleep, there's people who's having nightmares, and there's people who never wake up, and there's people who can't fall asleep after this point. And it tells, the little stories mixed in there. Right here is where they figure out, hey, we got the wrong one. It's actually Dream. And here, this is one of the little cute DC tie-ins. The Sandman from like the Silver Age, he actually got the idea from Dream. When he realized what was happening, he put it in his head. Now, when they summon Dream, he has not only his sigil, which is his helm, but he also has a ruby, a bag of sand. And both of these are really, really powerful magical items. Well, as the time goes on, they're in the order in this little cult. There's a rift growing, and when it breaks, they steal a bunch of stuff, a bunch of money. They declare magical war. You know, it's all the stuff you can imagine dealing with. So Dream goes back to his realm of dreaming, which is Morpheus in these. Morpheus goes back to his realm of dreaming. Another interesting thing to know about Dream is he shows up as the god of dreaming or dreams as that god to whatever species it is. There's this panel in here where he's talking to Martian Manhunter, and you know, all the Martian Manhunters, people are dead, and he can't believe this god's come to him. Well, it's the same god, it's Dream. Anyways, they go through all this, and he's trying to find he's trying to get his stuff back, you know, because it's part of him. He's not as strong as he would be if he had all of his stuff. And the first thing he gets is his bag of sand, and his bag of sand is kept. I don't know how she ended up with it, but it's this girl that Constantine used to date and was in love with and stuff. And anyways, he puts her to sleep, and you know, it's this nice little panel with Constantine. He's outside smoking, because this all that's keeping her alive is this dream powder, and it's turned the whole house into like a living dream. It's real nasty. It's a living organism made of dreams. He says, well, she's dead. Did she? She died peacefully. She died happy. Yeah, great, thanks. You got your sodden sandbag back then. So where are we going now? He says, to hell. Huh, aren't we all, mate? Aren't we all? I'll go wake Chas up and take off back to the smoke. Then got to work to do, huh? I'll see you. Goodbye, Constantine. Hey, hang on, wait a minute, yes? Well, I don't like to ask for favors if they don't owe me something. I mean, I don't want to be in anyone's debt. What are you asking me, John Constantine? Ever since Newcastle the last 10 years, I've been having these nightmares, bad ones most nights, and wondered if you could. I understand. Very well, thanks. Constantine says thanks. Then he starts singing Mr. Sandman. That's a cool one. Now, the going to hell, there's another story I'm not going to really get into that opens this up. Because you got to, I'm telling y'all, if you buy this, I always try to give, if it's a book series, I give it one book. If it's a TV show, I give it 1 or 2 episodes before I yay or nay on it. Buy this book if you have any interest in comics at all. It's a great read. So he goes to hell, and one of the demons has his helmet, and the demon challenges into this game where they project, you know, what they are. One of them's a wolf, and the other one's a hunter, and then on a horse, and then a horsefly, then a spider, and it goes back and forth through that. Dream finally wins. He says, you know, here, Dream Master, this is your helmet. You've won it fairly. Thank you, Kings of Hell. I thank you, the Kings of Hell are honorable. I will remember this. Honorable, you joke, surely. Look around you, Morpheus. The million lords of hell stand arrayed about you. Tell us, why should we let you leave? Helmet or no, you have no power here. What power have dreams in hell? These 2 pages is the ones that got me. That I was like, man, this is it. This is an amazing comic. The first one, get it right here. This is the first page. It goes from the small one to the big one. You say I have no power here. Perhaps you speak truly. But you say that dreams have no power here? Tell me, Lucifer Morningstar. Ask yourselves, all of you, what power would hell have if those here in prison were not able to dream of heaven? Ouch. So then you got this next panel. That's Lucifer Morningstar looking on. And they're parting. It says, silently they move aside, unable to meet his gaze, unable to meet my gaze, and walking steadily, my helm by my side, I take my leave of hell, my hopes fulfilled. Lucifer says, one day, my brothers, one day I shall destroy him. He comes close. He really screws him up. He, I can't remember if it was at World's End or brief lives, but he decides to lock the gates of hell, and he gives the keys to Sandman. And all these envoys come from all over the place to, you know, tell him why they should have hell. And he ends up giving it to the two angels, because the envoys sent from heaven and God, because without hell there could be no heaven, and it upsets that balance. So the two angels kind of get messed up. They got to stay in hell now. They're the overlords of hell. But that's one of the stories in here. This other one, this crazy dude, I don't even remember what he does. He's in Gotham, and he ends up with this, I think it's a demon's eye or something. It's something that come from the same people that had him in prison, and he gets out, and he gets dreams Ruby, which is the ruby is the most powerful of these three artifacts, because he took part of himself to make the ruby. It's literally part of him, and he stole it from the Just League of America, who's got like this warehouse full of stuff that they've took from people. It's in there, and that's how he finds out. It's when he talks to Martian Manhunter. Anyways, he beats him, and it's a lot. It's several issues of the comic. It would have been, I think it's 4 or 5, and he takes him back to Arkham, and the Scarecrow's still there, because when he left, he'd pretend hung himself. He don't really do nothing to him. He just takes him back to jail. And then this is him. He's sitting feeding pigeons, and that's Death. That's a good picture of Death. And he's just talking to his sister, which would be his older sister, because it goes Destiny, Death, Dream, the twins, Destruction. No, Destruction's older than the twins. Destruction, the twins, then Delirium. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to review this for y'all. We give y'all a little heads up. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I didn't go too long-winded. I know this is a little longer than most of my videos, but I wanted to get kind of in depth and tell y'all, you know, it's just, like I said, it's $20 when I bought it. I bought this thing, the first 10, probably every bit of 10 years ago, and I've probably read it 8 times. It's an excellent read. It's well worth it. And like I said, I don't own all the other ones, but I will. I'm not going to go out of my way and go on Amazon and just order every Sandman trade paperback. I do that with stuff, but I think it'd be more fun just to, you know, if I go to comic shops, pick one up here and there if they've got one. Anyways, I hope all y'all enjoyed this video. I appreciate y'all taking the time to watch it. Remember to like the Facebook page, share the videos as I post them, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank y'all. Have a great day.